Hey everyone, it's been a while since we played a Philidor series, so let's get straight into it. E4, D4, D6, Knight F6, all very simple stuff. We've seen this a billion times on my channel at this point. Now, before we get into this opening, I just want to say thank you everyone for the support since I've come back. So many people have been commenting on my videos, asking about more Philidor videos, asking more about Kali videos, and it's just great to see so many people love playing and seeing these openings that I've enjoyed playing over the last few years. Actually, I use these openings a lot since I to get my title, and I'm very happy to see that so many people do enjoy watching this. And so in this position, let's get straight into this position over here. My opponent is playing the exchange variation of this opening, and the exchange variation is just not a very good variation. I've said this many times because you bring the knight out so early here, and bringing the knight out here is actually really bad in these openings. And the reason why is because I can just chop this knight off, and when you take back, like literally this position is symmetrical other than the fact you have bad pawns. So when you think of it this way, you just realize that this position is just bad for white. And I'm pretty sure we actually had a video recently where we had literally the exact same position. Like, I'm pretty sure this exact same position showed up. I played the moves like knight b6, queen c6, and bishop g4, and we just got a very nice position. So to be honest, I'm not sure why I wouldn't just do the same thing again. I think I'm just going to play knight b6. I'm going to play moves like rook e8 to protect this pawn, or I might just play bishop g4 to be honest, to begin with, just to pin the knight. Again, I've seen this position before. I have a very faint recollection of actually seeing this exact same position before. So we're gonna just play something like this. We're gonna do the in-between move. We're gonna attack this queen in-between move over here. If they decide to take a rook, we're very happy because a rook and a bishop is generally, you know, slightly better for the person with the queen. Now in this position, again, I feel like I've seen this position before. Maybe you guys can link to me in the comment section below if I played this exact same position before, but I'm 99% sure I played this exact same thing, where basically I go for these pawns, I go for this open d file over here, I don't let go of this d file, I play moves like c5, c4, I trap the opponent's bishop is really sad, and the opponent's king just tries running out this way. I have a faint recollection that this exact same position happened. He plays pawn c4. I could play pawn a5, but I'm just gonna play rook to c to d4 again. Again, this is the exact same position. I'm pretty sure as a video from a couple weeks or a couple days ago, where I take this pawn and I'm not scared of the c3 move. I remember I'm not scared because I'm pretty sure I have knight over here. Now, okay, I guess I have knight over here anyways. Knight over here, my opponent moved the king over there. I think he's trying to, well, he's trying to get into my position for sure. But in this position, do I have any tricks here? Like I play knight over here and I play a move like pawn c4. Is the opponent's bishop trapped? Don't think so, but I think I'm going to play this anyways. This move I think is pretty strong. It stops the opponent's rook from coming out because otherwise, or coming to d1 because otherwise I'd take this bishop. And here I think my opponent is in a pretty rough situation here because his king wants to get forward, but I don't think he will ever come forwards, to be honest. I'm gonna play g6. And the reason why I'm going to play g6 is very simple. I don't want his king to come in. To be honest, I think this is the only thing that my opponent can do to try to win. So as long as I stop this from happening, like I don't know what my opponent's going to actually try to do here. To be honest, I think it's kind of over for my opponent. I'm going to play, if he ever tries to move the king forward, there's just knight takes f3. So, okay, he plays this move over here. I think I'm just going to check him on h5. Like, to be honest, I don't really care about this. Okay, yeah, he goes back over here, which makes sense. What if I just play pawn c4, kick the bishop over here, pawn c3, kick the bishop back, just take him and play rook c1, d2. I probably should have played that earlier now that I think about it. This looks pretty good for me if I had played it earlier, but you know, we learn from our mistakes. I think I'm just going to play it, to be honest. Do I just want to play it? Okay, so I play this, kick the bishop over here, then we play pawn c3. Again, we're attacking this bishop using discovery attack, asking his bishop to come back. So I think his bishop's going to come back now. and I'm just going to snap him off if he does come back. Now, he doesn't have to. He could always just play, like, I don't know, bishop here, I suppose. But then I can always play moves like a6 and try to loop around, try to win this a2 pawn, which is a pretty important pawn for my opponent. My opponent's king went on this journey, and this king's journey went absolutely nowhere. His king is trapped. He cannot go forwards. And so he decides to play the worst move possible. He says he doesn't care about his bishop, and he wants to dominate me a free knight takes f3 check, forking the king and rook together. And this... well, I guess this was an exchange Philidor in this position. Alright, second game. So a lot of people have asked me, what do I do against pawn d4? And this is a good question. Now, a lot of people have asked me, can you play the Philidor still? And in theory, yes, you can. Especially if your opponent plays London defense. Now, the London defense is an opening that as you guys probably know, I really do not like. I think the London defense is an opening that promotes a lot of bad behaviors and allows you to take advantage of this opening very quickly, especially if you play the Philidor. If you play the Philidor, this is really bad for your opponent. Like, this position is just the last position basically, except now he's just down a lot of tempos, to be honest, which is not great for the opponent, to be honest. So they play over here. Now in this position, to be honest, I'm just going to play pawn c6. Usually you don't play pawn c6 in exchange variation, but the idea here is very simple. I want to play queen to b6. I want to take advantage of these weaknesses in this position that involve the weak b2 pawn. Now, something interesting I could have tried try in the future is something like queen b4 check, trying to win this bishop. If I kick this bishop away, I could do like a queen b4 check to win this bishop on h4. Now, that's something that's a little bit more interesting to me, to be honest. Now, my opponent here decides to go for very weak dark squares. Like, this is extremely weak dark squares, to be honest. His bishop is on the opposite side of the board, and, well... and not really and anything, but basically he just has weak dark squares in this position. So I could carry out my plan. I could play queen a5 check, and if he plays queen d2, play bishop b4, force him to play c3, then just play bishop back to e7. That looks pretty decent. If he plays knight d2, then I play b5. In this position, there's a lot of things I can do in this position, because this doesn't look very good for my opponent, to be honest. I'm not sure what he's doing here. But whatever it is, it does not look good. Now, I could play knight e4. I think I'm just going to check him here, actually. Bishop b4 check. These dark squares are really weak. He has to play a even more weakening move like pawn c3 here. He cannot play knight d2 because of just knight e4 just slams him. So we provoke a weakness. We just move the bishop back. So basically, we just gain the tempo here for free. So it's our opponent's move now. He's thinking about what he wants to do in this position. But yeah, this position overall, I'm just going to say I like it very much so far for me. Now, what are we going to do here? We could try to play queen here, but it allows b4 because we can't take this bishop because this knight's protecting. But queen here does threaten this move b5. Now, do I care about him playing b4? The answer is not really. I mean, am I really scared of him playing b4? We could do it as a poking move so we can play pawn a5 in the future. That is something we could do. Or we could just wait for the opponent. You know what? I'm just going to castle here. No, you should never castle in chess if the only reason you're castling is to just have something to do. That's never a proper way of doing things. But I think I have an idea now. I'm going to castle, play rook e8, and try to play a move like knight d5. I think knight d5 is the move I want to play here, because knight d5 puts my knight on a very strong square, attacks big weaknesses, and if he takes, I just have a big center, which is really good for me. So I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to play rook e8. This is a common idea in the Philidor, so I'm going to try it. I could also try bishop a3 now that I think about it. Bishop a3 threatening bishop here to take this pawn. Now, that is kind of interesting. Now, I'm concerned if my pieces get trapped, though, so I'm not actually going to try that. But in this position, let's just wait for my opponent to play. And while he's taking his time, I just want to ask you guys how everybody's doing. How's the Philidor been treating you guys? Have you guys been winning? Do you guys have any questions? I know so many of you guys want me to show a Kali Zukertort lesson on what to do against pawn g6 early on. And I do have a system against that too that I do want to show you guys later on. But I do need the games to be played where my opponent played g6. Otherwise, there really is no point of me doing it. So in this position, he played knight over here. I assume he's going to castle next move. But the idea here again is I just want to play knight d5. I think just knight d5 is very strong here, and I also get rid of my bad bishop for his okay bishop, I suppose. So I'm waiting for our opponent's move here. If he takes over here, I have to take with the bishop. Because my knight captures, he wins this pawn. So, okay, I'm going to plop the knight on d5 now. It discovery attacks the bishop. Not that this really matters, but the idea is I just plop my knight onto a strong square. That's the main idea of this opening, or not this opening, of this idea that I have here. Because my opponent doesn't have the typical e4, I'm not really too worried about what my opponent's trying to do. Now, he took me over here. Again, I'm not too worried about that. If he doesn't take me back, take me over here, I'm going to take him, and then I'm going to play something like queen f6. Maybe knight f6, to be honest. A lot of things I can do in this position because my pieces are very nice. Okay, so he plays c4. Now, this is fascinating. This is interesting. It lets me take here, so I'm going to take there first. I think this move is strong by me. If he takes here, obviously he's just down a piece, so he has to take my knight, my bishop back, obviously. And then I'm just going to push my pawn. I'm just going to push here. The idea here is I'm threatening this over here. I'm threatening to take this pawn on e3, which is a pretty big threat. So he has to capture me, or I guess he doesn't have to capture me. I guess he could do this instead, but this is weird. What is my opponent trying to do here? It's always important whenever your opponent plays something weird that you ask what they're doing. If I take here, he has knight here, but that doesn't do anything, or does it do something? I don't think it does something. Oh, it might do something, because if I take here, he plays over here, and if I play rook here, that's problematic because he'll take my bishop, I take back, then he'll take my knight. So I might have to play something like rook d8, which looks kind of bad. Not sure I want to play that move, to be honest. But anyways, I think I'll just do it. If my opponent just found this super grandmaster move, I think it's fine. Okay, he plays knight d6. He did find it. If I play here, again, he has this. And if I play here, he has knight here. So I think I have to play rook to d8. Pause. In this position, I actually missed a really cool move in this position that I could have played here to have instantly won the game. Let me know in the comments section below if you know what it is and if you found the move that I couldn't. It's not a move I want to play, but it's the move that I gotta play here, I'm pretty sure, from my calculations. And the idea here is I'm threatening to move my knight, and the knight is pinned here, so I might have to play something like knight c5 in the future. I'm a little concerned because my pieces are not that developed. So my main priority here is after I win this pawn to try to develop my pieces. Now my opponent decides to play here. Now this looks like a sneaky move because it looks like it threatens these two things, which it does, which is very scary. But pause your videos and let me know if you guys can figure out why this move is really bad. So take a second, think about it. And 3, 2, 1, I'm going to tell you guys why it's bad because it just blunders this poor knight over here. This poor knight wants to live, but unfortunately, he does not get to. So, opponent's move. Again, there's still a lot of threats here. I do need to be careful because after he takes here, again, he's attacking this pawn over here, which is not something I want him to capture. I'm going to play knight to f6. I think knight to f6 is very strong. It protects against knight f5 because if he plays that, I just snap him off. And, well, he has to play something like g4, but again, my h6 pawn is already protecting against that as well. Now, he could try to play rook d1, but again, I'm open to any trades. If any trades is always going to be beneficial to the person who's up material, which happens to be me. So if he decides to trade, I'm happy. Trading is always better for the person who's up material, which is me. And so, I still need to find a way to untangle my pieces. But over time, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to untangle my pieces here. I'm going to have a great position here. And my opponent is going to lose, essentially. So my opponent doesn't do anything. Simple move, bishop e6 is what I'm going to do. It protects f7. And also my queen is protecting this. And my rook is protecting that. So I'm just making sure everything is safe. He's trying to play knight f5, but I don't care. If he plays knight f5, he plays knight f5. Who cares? I'm going to play bishop e6. If he plays knight f5, I snap it off. I trade off all the pieces. I win the game. Easy as that. Okay, he plays this. As I said, I don't care. I'm going to take him. If he takes with pawn, he blocks off his attack. If he takes this way, again, this is completely fine as well. I could play queen e6. I think queen e6 is a pretty good trade offer. Though I could just play the very boring rook takes, play rook over here, and let him take my e5 pawn and say, I don't care about my e5 pawn. That is something I could do, but is there a reason for us to do so? We could just play queen e6. I think I'll just go for this very boring trade idea. And yes, we give up a pawn, but that's okay because it helps us trade off all our opponent's pieces off. Now, I'm not sure why my opponent is thinking here. I wonder what he's thinking about in this position. He has to take back the rook, right? I assume he has to take back the rook. It makes sense if he has to take back the rook here. So what is he thinking about here? Okay, he takes back. I'm gonna play rook d8. Again, I'm giving up a pawn because I don't care about the material at this point. Because at this point, all I want to do is trade off the pieces, and if I trade off the pieces, I win. So if I play queen here, I can threaten to take this pawn. He'll probably play queen c7. I take this pawn and protect b7. So I'm gonna play queen over here, just offer a queen trade here. And if he doesn't accept, if you play queen c7 again, I just take this pawn in e4, and life is pretty good. So okay, I would take this pawn in e4. I protect my b7 pawn. I am equal pawns, but just up a knight in this position. So now I just need to figure out a way to trade off the pieces in a way that just helps me win the game, essentially. So my pieces are safe. He might play queen b8 here. I think that makes sense, trying to win the a7 pawn, I suppose. Or he can just resign. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's 2 Philidor games. They were pretty good, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.